The 7 stages of a gay male SJW. Okay, I'm writing this about gay guys because that's what I know best. Also, the hypothetical person I'm going to be describing is a white guy because it's less complicated that way, and I've witnessed dozens or hundreds of white gay guys go through these stages very publicly on social media over the past 4 years or so. I will call him Brad. I'm going to start with 0, which is the baseline, and truthfully, mostly where people should be morally. The baseline is the classic liberal, somebody who agrees with free speech and open dialogue, who thinks people should be judged by the content of their character and not their gender or skin color, and who probably believes in working within politics to help the system. However, then it happens. Brad gets called out publicly and embarrassed. It's almost always because he did something completely innocent. Maybe he noticed a friend of his that he hadn't talked to in a long time flagrantly hating on white people, or cis people, or men on their timeline on Facebook. Let's say his friend Tanya says, "I just hate having to go to psychology class and hear about all of these white people problems from my classmates. I don't care about your white ass problems. They have nothing to do with my life. Your experiences aren't valid because you're white. Nobody cares." Obviously, this person, Tanya, is SJW, but Brad doesn't even know it. Maybe he doesn't even really know what a social justice whatever even is. And he's alarmed because his friend sounds like a racist psycho to him, when they could have sworn a year ago that they were super tight, and that Tanya did care about his white feelings. So then Brad says, "Hey, I know school sucks sometimes, and I bet a lot of these kids are rich and annoying, but I don't know if it's going to improve the situation to attack them for their race. I mean, it's okay to vent sometimes, and maybe if they said something racist that I don't know about, that would be a problem, but it sounds like you're being pretty bigoted. I'm just saying this because I care about you. Hit me up if you're ever back in Massachusetts." Big mistake, obviously. Brad will now be barraged with SJW vitriol and attacks about his race, gender, and character, and stage 1 will fully be underway. I can just imagine all the comments, not just from the original SJW poster Tanya, but her friends. "Wow, lots to unpack here. First off, you do know that it's impossible for Tanya to be racist because she is black. She does not hold institutional power and therefore cannot be racist." Oh, well, I didn't say that she was being racist, technically. I said bigoted. I've heard that argument before. I'm just saying that she might be able to find more constructive ways of talking about the situation. "But who are you to tell somebody how to feel about their oppression as a woman and a black person? That is white supremacy and misogyny right there. You are demanding that somebody more oppressed than you cater to your own white man-baby comfort. I'm sorry, but I personally love white male tears." Jeez, that's certainly rude. And I experience oppression too. I'm gay. And whoever said anything about her being a woman? Why is misogyny brought up? "You clearly don't understand how patriarchy works. You benefit from the white cis gay male patriarchy because you are a white man, bottom line. And gay guys are usually more misogynistic than straight men." They are? I've never heard anybody say that. Where did you hear that? I don't think that's true. And here comes the inevitable end to the conversation, the great silencer. "Look, it's not my job to educate you, bro. Why don't you go read about the experiences of queer women of color on your own time? Your job is to shut up and listen for a while." It might go on a bit, then peter out, but that leads us to stage 2, the indoctrination. See, poor Brad was just attacked for his identity and humiliated when he was legitimately trying to help. He was accused of being a racist misogynist, which is terrifying to him because, of course, he's anything but, as a genuine liberal, so his guilt compels him to look into social justice literature. Usually online, sometimes he might sign up for a course, if he is in school. However, he has no idea that he's being indoctrinated, because at this stage, he is 100% unaware that there are numerous flaws in the logic of all of this stuff. He is unaware that the current anti-racist narrative is almost universally not just cult-like in itself, and also kind of racist, but also stems back almost entirely universally to intersectional feminism at this point. So he reads and reads, avoiding conversations about the information he is looking at because last time that didn't go so well. Finally, he thinks he's up to speed, but that is a sore mistake. After he reads a bunch and watches some SJW YouTube blogs, stage 3 begins when he starts trying to discuss these issues openly. See, while he was told to shut up and listen as his job, somewhere in his readings he undoubtedly heard that he should not feel afraid to talk about racism and sexism and share his opinions openly. Oops, that is a lie. What SJWs really want is for guys like him to parrot everything they say, perpetually apologize about their supposed privilege, agree with them publicly, and publicly shame or call out others who make the mistake of having a genuine opinion like his initial one. And so, when he makes the mistake of posting about a blog he has read and giving an honest critique, he will be called out again. That's just how it works. Once they know you're starting to become a social justice warrior, you will be held to social justice whatever standards. The social justice wankers are impossible to please, no matter who you are. They'll say something like this. How dare you criticize Cat Black for stating the obvious truth that gay men frequently sexually assault women? She is a woke-ass, queer black woman who is far more educated than you, and to demand that anybody reading your disgusting critique of her go through the time and emotional labor to educate you is the epitome of white male entitlement. Basically, it's the same call out as last time. It always comes back to silencing him based on his opinions and identity. He'll probably try to respond a little bit. Yes, but I listened to her very carefully and it didn't seem too accurate. I mean, maybe it happens. Maybe gay men sexually assault women. Talking about the experiences of women is not your arena. Stay in your lane, dude. Women almost never lie about sexual assault because they have nothing to gain from it. You need to believe women when they tell you things. This could go on for a while. Maybe he tries a few more times to be logical to the SJWs, but it will always go like that. You can't make any compromises with them, which will lead to stage 4. Brad becomes a full-blown SJW, which is when he starts to constantly virtue signal on his social media. This is when I usually just unfollow these people on Facebook. This is when the white guy starts posting about Black Lives Matter 5 times a day and changes their default photo to a Black Lives Matter logo. He doesn't realize how many people are embarrassed for him, how many people have been through what he is going through. The embarrassment for him overwhelms any other read of the situation, and nobody can say anything because he's doing everything he can to please them. But remember, you can never please these people. Over the next number of months or years, he whittles his immediate friend group down to only other SJWs. His long-term friends know that they can't even say anything to him because they've seen what happens on his timeline when his SJW friends have a problem with somebody. Brad's real friends are forced to sit back helplessly as he is publicly indoctrinated into a cult, ritualistically humiliating himself to prove how committed he is. He does this for a long time, probably, but then eventually he makes a mistake again, and that's where stage 5 happens. He somehow pisses off an SJW that has more victim points than him. Maybe he went to a protest. Maybe he marched in the front instead of marching in the back like he's supposed to as a good white boy. Or he spoke on the microphone instead of waiting for a less privileged person to speak before him, not understanding that his voice was less important. So somebody calls him out or calls him in. Then he publicly apologizes about it on his timeline. But you see, at this point, since all of his friends are SJWs, there is no mercy. As the saying goes, you can never apologize to SJWs. If they sense that you feel bad about something, they will always exploit that. They will use it as an opportunity to get more from you. It will start with some sort of accountability, but eventually Brad will be called upon to prove himself in some way. Sometimes this will be small, but other times he will have to go to epic lengths to prove himself. He will be forced to defend himself to prove his virtue, but that is absolutely impossible if you are a white male, or if people think that you've done something wrong as a SJW. They will attack you relentlessly. Stage 6 happens when he fails, and people spread rumors about him. Then drama goes around and people start lying about him. They're saying that he was never a good ally anyway, and now they have proof. Maybe even fabricating specific stories entirely. He might even be accused of sexually assaulting some dude when they were both drunk. Don't put it past these people. Perhaps somebody says that he was always transphobic, and then the attacks start coming in left and right. They pile on everything they can think of, and since the SJW crowd all knows him now after he made the mistake of running deep in their circles, it's open season. They attack his education and how he must have been privileged to go to that school, where he grew up, where he works. He is a privileged white male and was never really one of us. They make him out to be some kind of demon because somebody always has to be the bad guy to SJWs. And if they've already blocked every racist or transphobic friend from high school on social media, they'll cannibalize each other like starving piranhas. And white dudes are always the first to go. And remember, gay guys, a lot of people will always think that you are an easy target. Finally, stage 7 comes. The SJW, Brad, realizes they were hanging out with the wrong crowd and begins to distance himself from them. They get back in touch with their old friends, their real friends, and it turns out that they were worried about them. Maybe Brad and these people had fought a bit about SJW nonsense, but hopefully they make up. However, sometimes people like Brad will find their way into anti-SJW culture, which is a growing thing. And they start following YouTube closely and go to sleep every night watching, like Sargon of Akkad break down the illogic of their prior friend circle. Sometimes these guys might turn full-blown conservative. Brad might get really into Milo Yiannopoulos and be seduced by the full-blown flagrant ridicule. Stage 7 is basically where we are at right now culturally. There will be a stage 8 eventually, but most people haven't even gotten to stage 7 yet, though they will soon. What will happen? Well, that's entirely up to us who make content and you who write comments. So please share your thoughts and subscribe to my channel if you like this, and thumbs up if you want more blah blah blah. Okay, bye.